Earthquakes can certainly be terrifying natural disasters, especially those of sufficient magnitude. The movie San Andreas depicts one such earthquake which strikes San Francisco along with other California cities, resulting in a massive tsunami sweeping inland. But could the events of this movie actually happen in real life? Well, it turns out the movie San Andreas is unrealistic because of the strength of the earthquake, the resulting tsunami, and its inability to match up with similar events in real life. First, let's talk about the events that happened before the earthquake. In the movie, a Caltech seismologist predicts the looming disaster and is heralded as a hero. But according to Dr. Lucy Jones, a real-life seismologist, there does not yet exist a way to predict when an earthquake will strike. However, seismologists can estimate where earthquakes may be likely to strike by calculating probabilities and forecasts. Earthquake probabilities describe the chances of an earthquake of a certain magnitude occurring within a region over a span of years and can be calculated based on the average rate of past seismic activity in a region. This technique is particularly useful in regions where earthquakes have been recorded by seismographs, which first came into wide use in the early 1900s. Now let's get to the actual earthquake. In the movie, the earthquake was graded as a 9.6 on the Richter scale. For those of you who are unfamiliar with this measurement system, the Richter scale is used to measure the strength of earthquakes with each subsequent magnitude being 10 times stronger than the last, meaning a magnitude 3 earthquake would be 10 times stronger than a magnitude 2 earthquake. Now obviously, an earthquake of magnitude 9.6 would be incredibly powerful, but could it occur along the San Andreas Fault? Well, according to seismologist Dr. Lucy Jones, the same one we mentioned earlier, magnitude 9 earthquakes can only occur on a subduction zone, also known as a reverse fault. And according to Michael Darr from Live Science, a subduction zone is when a tectonic plate dives below another plate. The San Andreas Fault is not a subduction zone, but is actually a different type of fault called a strike-slip fault, which is when two different plates slide past one another. According to The Hollywood Reporter, the biggest earthquake that could ever occur on the San Andreas Fault would be an 8.3 because of this fact. Therefore, an earthquake of 9.6 would not be possible on the San Andreas Fault. Next, let's take a look at the resulting tsunami that followed the earthquake and some of its consequences. Shortly after the earthquake ravages San Francisco, it triggers a massive tsunami that grows to a whopping height of 270 feet and washes over the roadway of the Golden Gate Bridge. To understand why this is not possible, let's take a look at a comparable event that actually happened in real life. In 2011, a 9.0 earthquake hit Japan and caused a 133-foot tsunami that claimed an estimated 20,000 lives. The reason why it was possible for this earthquake to cause a tsunami was because it happened at a subduction zone underwater. And like I mentioned earlier, the San Andreas Fault is not a subduction zone. It is a strike-slip fault. It is also not underwater. It is on land. So for those reasons, it would not even be possible for an earthquake on this fault to cause a tsunami. And even if one did somehow occur, it could not be 270 feet tall because the water around the Golden Gate Bridge is simply not deep enough, according to CBS News. Next, let's talk about the large chasm that opens up as a result of the earthquake. This would not be possible because the plates wouldn't be splitting apart like that, but would rather be sliding past one another. If the Earth was splitting apart, there would be no earthquake at all because earthquakes are caused by the release of built-up energy due to friction of plates sliding against each other. Now that we've discussed all the things the movie got wrong, let's discuss something that it actually got right. In the movie, an earthquake in Nevada triggered an earthquake in LA, which triggered an earthquake in San Francisco. According to Dr. Jones, this is actually possible because earthquakes, and particularly large ones, can trigger other earthquakes in more distant locations through a process known as dynamic stress transfer or triggering. This means that the energy from the seismic wave passing through can cause a new earthquake, usually in already vulnerable locations prone to frequent earthquakes. For example, in 1992, a 7.3 quake hit Southern California and triggered a 5.7 quake in Nevada. And alternatively, in 1906, an 8.0 quake in San Francisco triggered a 5 to 6 magnitude earthquake in the Santa Monica Bay, Imperial Valley, Nevada, and Oregon regions. This proves that even though the movie got a lot wrong,